One of the projects I'm currently working on is a device for folks with low vision. So it'll be an audio feedback device. And I was looking at different options. One of the big challenges is the speakers and the enclosures, and all that stuff takes time to 3D print and to put together. So I thought, well, let's see if we could use something that's already out there and modify it for our purposes. Now, my general purpose here is I wanted something that had a decent looking enclosure, had audio amplifier in it, and was as simple as possible. And these use a line in, an 1/8 inch 3.5 millimeter line in, and the USB is just for power. It does not actually connect to a computer, it's just for power. So most of these seem to be coming out of the same factory, or at least very close. They are about 12 inches long, 2 inches high and deep, and at least these that I've got, and these are Amazon special, so they're like $16 on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. It's another thing I'm targeting for, is under $20. What they do is they replace this center part, which has the board, the control board, the amplifier, whatever, depending on the functionality that they're going to include. This particular one is fancier. It's a microphone input along with the speakers. This other one was simpler. It did not have the mic input. It was just audio only. So I thought to myself, well, these enclosures are pretty good size, right? And I can get into them and add my own boards. The problem is that the speaker itself, the main unit, is pretty much enclosed. Now, in theory, I could probably pop the cover off. It may vary it, and it's just going to be too much of a hassle. So what I did, fortunately, all of these have 2 screws in the back that take this control panel off. So in this case, you can see that I have already removed it. And it would normally go like this, and there would be a volume knob here, which I don't know where I misplaced it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So inside here you have the volume knob, right? And that has the audio amplifier board and the inputs and the switches. And I was originally going to use this, but then I thought to myself, well, I can't get into here, but this space is not horrible. It's a pretty good sized space. It's about 25 millimeters tall, I think about 40 deep. So it's pretty decent for me to stuff into. So my thought is ditch this part completely and really ditch this part completely. And I'm left with the speaker cables left and right to tie for my project. Now you might ask yourself, why are there 4 wires? Well, good question. Because a lot of these, at least the ones that I've purchased, have LEDs that light up. In this case, it has a blue LED across the bottom. Some of them have RGB LEDs at the end for that classic disco effect. So I'm not going to be using those probably. The red and the black are your audio. So I'm more likely than not just going to clip off this connector and then use the wire. There's enough wire here for me to play with. I might try to do a connector. I don't know. We'll see. So where I'm at right now is, okay, I'm going to reuse this. So I'm thinking I could do a 3D printed part like this. This is an early one. The real one will have the back also. That will slip into place, so we can have our own button or touch surface or something here, so when they press it they can get the feedback. Like tap it, capacitive pickup, it would say, sunrise is 5:42 a.m. or whatever, or zenith is 11:05. And fortunately, and the reason I was going with this is I took a look at the parts that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be, as a microcontroller, I'll use, this is a Seed Studio Xia one, but that Cutie Pie form factor, all the same board shapes. So that would go in that space, right? And then real-time clocks are about that size. And then the newest board, now this, I'm not going to use text-to-speech on this. This is going to require pre-recorded phrases. And so in effect, it's an MP3 player, right? So we pre-record all of the phrases and then play it through an MP3 player. And then this DF Robotics, this is their pro version of the board, which has onboard memory, will handle the playback of the MP3 files, and the MP3 files will be on this board. It gets programmed through the USB connector there. So the speakers will be tied into here. The microcontroller will work with the real-time clock, so it knows what day and time it is, and the microcontroller will work with the player to trigger whichever phrases need to be played. And the board, this board here has an audio amplifier on it, so I'm going to be relying on its audio amplifier, hoping that it will work. That's what I have to wire up next. So I think I have enough room to stuff these three components into this space and have kind of a clean looking unit for proof of concept. So more to come. Thank you for watching.